The cell wall is the boundary that surrounds the plasma membrane, and the function of the cell wall is to provide, protect, and keep the shape of the cell. The property boundary is like a cell wall because the farm cannot expand past this boundary, even though it's not quite a physical thing. The plasma membrane is a phospholipid bilayer that maintains homeostasis in the cell. An electric fence is like a plasma membrane because it controls the things that are going in and out of the cell by shocking them. Cytoplasm's role in the cell is to keep everything in place and allow proteins to move throughout the cell. The way gravity is like cytoplasm is that it keeps everything on the farm in place, but at the same time, it allows what needs to move to move. The role of chloroplast in the cell is to absorb sunlight and convert it into otherwise known as energy, or glucose more specifically. The function of a solar panel is the exact same thing. They capture light and convert it into energy. The function of a vacuole in a cell is to store water, waste, and carbohydrates, which is a form of energy. Silos, wells, and septic tanks have this function split between all of them. Silos store food, or grain product, wells store water, and septic tanks store waste. The purpose of the Golgi apparatus is to put molecules into vesicles and send them across the cell. The reason farm packaging is like Golgi bodies and the Golgi apparatus is that it moves stuff in and out of the cell. The purpose of the rough endoplasmic reticulum is to transport proteins and other materials throughout the cell. The reason that dirt roads are like the rough endoplasmic reticulum is because they are being used to transport proteins about the cell. The purpose of the smooth endoplasmic reticulum is to help store lipids and proteins in the cell. That way they don't have to look for them when they need them. A barn is like the smooth ER because it helps store important things for the cell. These are unlike the vacuole because the smooth ER does not store water and waste. Ribosomes are important to the cell because they make proteins via synthesis. Parents and grandparents are like ribosomes because they help make the farmers, aka the proteins. And yes, this is a famous piece of artwork.
Oh my.
Yes, George, I know this is a lot of information to take in, but we kind of have to do this. The mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell. Their purpose is to produce and deliver energy to the cell. The reason that power plants are the mitochondria of the farm is that they deliver power, or energy, to the entire farm. And no, I'm not going to do another power joke. The nucleus of a cell is the control center, and it tells the rest of the cell what to do. The farmhouse is like the nucleus because all the instructions for the farm come from it. And by it, I mean the farmhouse. The purpose of a nucleolus in the cell is to house the chromatin and keep it safe. The safe in a farmhouse is like the nucleolus because it would house and protect the plants and bills of the farm. The chromatin is basically the DNA of the cell and contains all the genetic information for the cell. The plans and bills of the farm are like the chromatin because they contain the layout of how everything works on the farm and how much it costs.
That's all, folks.